Ow. What's up, everyone? Punchy back with Higurashi When They Cry, Chapter 3 to Higurashi. Oh man, and what a first episode to come back to. We learn, or at least we make a very heavy guess of how why Takano-san was there, how that late too as well, because if it was as late as Punchy made it seem, she was leaving fairly late. I mean, I guess technically she was with Tomitake, who I assume was her boyfriend, or was her boyfriend. I guess, yeah, they can chill out and stay for late, but apparently that's not what they did. Apparently, from what we're guessing, is that Takano-san killed Tomitake, our guy. I don't know if anyone actually likes Tomitake as much as I do. That's just because, I don't know, I thought honestly the first chapter, I thought he was going to be some sort of comic relief, big brother type thing, and that is not how it ended. Anyway, let's see how Punchy's doing. He had a rough night after all. At first, I thought it was a dream. I was staring at this strange sheet, not really understanding what it was. That was all. I didn't go after it, nor did I ridicule it. The fact was that the boring view was the ceiling of my own room, but I didn't realize that for a fairly long time. Yes, I thought I'd been dreaming, but I'd actually been staring at the ceiling the whole time. Lethargy, induced by the voices of the cicadas. Even after I realized I was awake, I couldn't draw forth the energy to sit up. Everything I could see, everything I could hear, everything was like a television broadcast that had already ended. It was hot. So hot I could choke on the heat. My back was moist with night sweats, and it felt gross. Unable to endure it any longer, I tossed in my futon, and finally, blood started coursing through my brain. I lazily recalled the long day I had yesterday. The reality, as I lay here listening to the voices of the cicadas, and yesterday was so different from it. In order to kill Satoko's uncle, I had rehearsed, formulated a plan, and dug a hole. It was very hot, and I was tired, wasn't I? And when evening came, I went to school and called him out on the phone. I panicked for a moment when he asked where the police station was, but it worked out. And then I awaited him and swooped down. I couldn't remember anymore what sort of emotions I let control my body. In any case, it didn't go smoothly, but I did it. It was very hard to dig the hole for the body. The feel of the rain pelting down on me, I don't think I'll ever forget it. The rain, the mud, and the sprays of blood. The sensation of floundering in a swamp. When I met Takano-san on the way home, that wasn't good, no matter how I interpreted it. It was the most misfortunate and uncalculated thing that happened that night. Everything would have been perfect if only I hadn't encountered her. I was just riding my bike with my shovel in one hand through the downpour, utterly soaked. There was no way someone could surmise I was a murderer bearing a body just from that information. Well, it's a pretty good guess. Now that I was thinking calmly, napping under the morning sun, that's what I thought. Still, the more I think about Takano-san's eyes, it seemed like she understood. Takano-san, she knew. that I'd killed someone, buried them, and that I'd been on my way home, exhausted. Takano-san wouldn't get anything from selling me out to the police, but that didn't mean I could feel at ease. I should have killed her. I had crossed such a bridge to get my tranquil life back, and I'd finally achieve it as a result. But for now, for the rest of my life, for all the tranquil days starting today, I'd have to live in fear for when they could suddenly end. I may have twisted my ankle, dulled from total exhaustion. The fact that I couldn't make the snap judgment I needed to, I regretted more and more as time went on. You didn't have a choice, Punchy Maribara. You didn't have any choice at the time. You were tired. You were a mess. Even if you had made the decision, you might not even have been able to kill her. I don't think you would have, really. She might have just beaten you instead. Yeah, Punchy probably would have tried hitting her with the shovel, and she would beat him down. And then look, she's got a convenient shovel for... she doesn't get her own out, I guess. It wouldn't trace back to her or anything. In that sense, parting ways uneventfully could have been the safer option. No matter how sharp Takano's intuition was, she had no proof. Her suspecting me didn't amount to evidence by itself. Logically, I know that. But that doesn't mean I have nothing to worry about, does it? Just worry about it when the time comes. Now wasn't the time to be worrying. It's the time to be smiling, right? You accomplished so much, just to gain a new life starting today, didn't you? Then you should be happy at this new morning. If remembering the past is too hard for you, then just consider everything up to yesterday as having never happened. You said so yourself. You'd bury it all like it never happened. Well, your wish came true. Everything before yesterday never happened. So be happy, Punchy Maribara. Yay. I stuck my hands up lazily. It felt a little silly for me to be the one doing it. I heaved a sigh from deep in my belly. That sigh got my lungs moving. It felt like I hadn't been breathing until just now. It wasn't enough to admonish myself over. All the dice could have been thrown already. All the dice that could be thrown already had been. And the numbers that turned up weren't bad at all. If I lost with those numbers, then I'd just have to give up, I guess. I grabbed the chest of my pajamas and flapped it back and forth. Cool air flowed over my sweating body. Okay. Nothing before yesterday happened. Nothing. Nothing at all. I'd forget it all. Yesterday was all a dream. What time was it? About midday? Getting myself up and going to school this late seemed kind of absurd, but I needed to go. I felt like going to school would be the first step into my peaceful new life. I didn't care how late it was, I would go. I'd go to school right now and get back to the life I'd retaken as soon as I could. My lazy body immediately became lighter at the thought. I rolled up out of the futon, bounced up to my knees, then leaped upright. Nice! Stuck the landing. I stuck out my chest with pride at my gymnast-like pose, then took a deep breath of fresh air. The brisk morning air had been gone for a while, replaced by the crisp air of summer. Downstairs, I got a stern talking to by my mother. Where were you last night? When did you get back? You need to tell me when you won't be home for dinner. Things like that. But considering the importance of what I'd accomplished yesterday, a little scolding was no problem. In fact, it even felt like the sort of thing that would happen in such a peaceful life. Except, like, you're gone, right? I'm sure, like, at some point they would check out the friends of Satoko, like, question them, and they'd know that, I don't know, I was there at some point. That saw how the uncle was treating, like, I mean, okay, so if there aren't that many people in Hinamizawa village, and one of Satoko's friends, and Satoko, they know, like, they would, just asking the residents of Hinamizawa, the police would know that everyone knew about Satoko, what was happening to her, or at least they had heavy guesses, right? And they'd probably ask the teacher, and the teacher would be like, yeah, Punchy was really adamant about saving Satoko. And then, to find out on the night that her uncle died or disappeared, who wasn't at the festival. And if they asked my parents, who wasn't home until very late. I listened with an irresponsible smile and stepped out into the sun high overhead. It was around the time lunch break would be ending. Everyone would probably be worrying about me. I didn't go to the festival, and now I wasn't at school. Well, maybe they weren't too worried about it, since they would have gotten a small piece of news, but a happy one, from Satoko today. Yes, the small piece of news that her uncle hadn't come home last night. Satoko would probably live her days in nervous tension for a while, thinking he still might come home. But eventually, those days would end. And finally, Satoko too would realize her uncle was never coming back. And then, Rika-chan would quietly invite her. She would say, "You can live with me again." And everything would be back to normal. Our lives would go back to how they were before that man appeared. Satoko would start wearing that extraordinary smile, complete with those protruding canines, and fool everyone with those traps she was so proud of. I'd probably be her first target out of everyone, but I wouldn't be mad. In fact, I might actually shed tears of joy at the return of something so normal. Satoko. She'd gradually grow back into that meddlesome personality of hers. I mean, my lack of useful life skills was already completely exposed. I wondered if I'd ever be a match for Satoko. But that would be such a pleasant thing to see too. And with such warm, fuzzy predictions, I didn't feel bad for going to school so late. In fact, I wanted to run there now to get there as soon as I could. Instead, I decided to savor the peacefulness of just going to school like normal, without running. The world I'd tamed for myself, that gave me joy just by walking like this. Yes, the world beginning on this very day was something I'd won. Without that monumental feat yesterday, I would never have been able to come to school so cheerfully today. The school gate came into sight. Just then, I heard the principal ringing the bell to mark the end of lunch break. It was a clear, refreshing sound. I stopped despite myself and let myself take it in. Tap. I had stopped suddenly, so there was an extra footstep. With the noise, the blessedness I was feeling throughout my whole body withdrew into any pore I could find. And as if to replace it, I felt like hundreds of hairy caterpillars were climbing up my feet. Oh god, no! Like, once that little background sound like the came out, like the creepy sound, I was already getting goosebumps myself. I turned back, but of course nobody was there. A single footstep could have easily been my imagination, but the footstep felt so ominous. That extra footstep I had heard after seeing Takano-san off last night. With everything that happened on that insane night, I didn't mind something like that happening once. It had been a hell of a night after all. In fact, having just one hallucination was pretty fortunate. But those footsteps should have ended with yesterday, so if I heard them again today, there was really only one thing it could have meant. Last night wasn't over. It was still going. Still. That insane night. Forever. The step I heard, just that one extra footstep, was quietly ridiculing the nonsensical notion that the world starting today was completely different from the one that ended yesterday. At least he's on high alert. But I'm afraid that this is going to be something that's already going to turn him a little even more mad than he has gotten. My classmates playing in the schoolyard all vanished inside like the tide going out. When I approached the school, it felt like that warm fuzzy scene had ended, and it didn't feel good. At the entrance, I took a quick look in everyone's shoeboxes. Satoko Hoju, she was here. Min was here too. And Rena, of course. Even Rika-chan was here. Tomomitake-kun and Okamura-kun were here. In fact, I didn't see any missing classmates. If there were shoes missing, they would have to be my own. I took my shoes off and stuck them in, then took out some slippers. There wasn't a single pair left in the shoe boxes anymore. With that, they returned to the rightful state. But as I stepped onto the wooden floor, I noticed there was just one pair of slippers left. Huh, who's Satoshi Hoju? Satoshi had never been to school since disappearing last year. Until now, we committed the exact same act of violence. But I guess in the very end, it went differently. You couldn't make it to school, but here I am. I didn't repeat the same mistake you made. I wasn't about to let myself feel superior about that. In fact, I felt an odd sense of familiarity with him. A misfortunate bond with someone I'd never met due to following the same fate. I headed down the hallway towards the usual classroom. It felt like it had been a whole year since coming here. Hey, did you forget, Punchy Maibara? Satoshi Hoju didn't really disappear on the night of the Watanagashi, did he? Satoshi Hoju disappeared a few days later. On Satoko's birthday, if I was right. I didn't know what day it was, but I couldn't say for sure I'd avoided Satoshi's failure, unless I remained here past that day. I was still living in that night of insanity. The teacher still hadn't come to the classroom. The other door clattered open, the one the teacher wouldn't use, so everyone turned at once to see who had arrived. Everyone looked pretty vacant. Suppose I'll greet them. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I do thank you for coming all the way out here today. Silence. When I started to think I'd fallen flat, someone finally started laughing for me. Good morning, Punchy-chan. You're pretty energetic today. Yeah, energetic. Maybe you haven't gotten out of the festive mood yet. How? Hearing me and Rena's cheerful voices made me realize how dumb those dark feelings I had been having at the entrance really were. Hey now, festive mood? I wasn't at the festival at all, remember? Before I could say that, Rika-chan smiled at me. Punchy, did you make sure to watch my dance? Oh my, they know. Oh god. Nervous cough attack. Oh my god. I think they must know. They must know that I really, because they already guessed that Punchy, when Satoko was missing the first time, they really thought, they were really scared that Punchy had like kidnapped her and hid her away somewhere. Now that Satoko's uncle's gone, and they know I wasn't there. Oh god, I don't know how to feel about this. I'm so nervous. Punchy, did you make sure to watch my dance? Yep, he saw it just fine. Didn't you see how big an applause he gave you? The nervous as I really made my cough act up. And he ignored it when that blockhead Shion came up and made a pass at him. Take that, Shion. Wow, that felt good. Mian starts laughing at the memory as she slaps me a few times on the back. So, how did that target practice contest turn out in the end? Tomita-kun was facing me and talking. There was nobody behind me. That meant he was talking to me? Tomitaki turned up dead last night. Everyone... Wait, what? Everyone had a good time with his punishment game. Wait, what? wait. Did I miss something? Okay, that's what's his name? Okamura-kun? So how did that target practice counter then? Tomitake. Tomita-kun. Okay, there. I was facing talking. There's nobody behind me. That means he was talking to me? Tomitake turned up dead last. Oh, dead last. Oh my god. Oh, I'm already seeing things, guys. Sorry about that. Weren't you supposed to be the one in last place, Rika-chan? It was such a turnaround when you pulled off getting that chewing gum. I should have expected that from a member of my club. It was fantastic. Crying at a time like that is a feat only for Rita would be allowed to do, said Okamura-kun, breathing heavily from his nose. In my direction. Everyone laughed. If anyone but Rika-chan had done it, it would have been against the rules. Rika-chan gave one of her... Okay, I heard it, and I don't want to try because... Especially because I'm still recovering a little bit. I don't know if I can go that high. Oh god, I feel embarrassed just trying it. Smiles as she listened to it. In my direction. Rena too turned to me. No, turned towards me. And then with a somewhat embarrassed smile, she whispered it to me so only I could hear. But really, thanks, Punchy-kun. Oh my, they know! They know and they're happy about it? For what? That giant stuffed animal. I was really happy. Wait. It's nice and safe right at my bedside. I'm really confused. And I made sure to give it a goodnight kiss before bed too. How? The class laughed at that, cheering and jeering. This whole time, the conversation had been a little bit off. I wasn't quite getting it. What's this? About a stuffed animal? What's this? Come on, we all worked really hard at the festival yesterday to get it down, remember? The gigantic stuffed animal? The gigantic stuffed animal. Randy seemed taken aback, but when she answered, she did it with a smile. We were having a hard time knocking it over, so we tried aiming at the forehead and rapid fire shooting the stuff. And then, Punchy-kun, he got a whole bunch of guns ready beforehand and shot them all. It was so cool how... Wait, who was this? All the people in the neighborhood association, including the chairman, were praising you so much at the party afterwards. One of them said he'd fallen in love with your way of words. Tokuzo Kimiyoshi, the chairman of the children's committee, I think. He said he wanted to entrust you with a few of the stalls at the next festival. Okay. Wait a minute, actually. What? So, if it was just my friend saying it, because that's what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was just going to be the club saying, oh, hey, Punchy, like, you're at the festival, like, covering for me, right? But if she's including that someone, like, other people, a lot of other people, like the chairman of the children's committee... What? What's happening? Tokuzo is the chair of the refreshment booth. He's on the festival executive committee. Maebara-san is great at making these things sound good, isn't he? Yep. Whenever he talks about something, it seems a lot better than it actually is. You can't say that. Punchy-kun, you'd be a great salesman. If you did a bargain sale on bananas or something, I bet it would go great. What have you been talking about? I mean, I didn't go to the festival in the first place. I swallowed those words. I didn't know exactly why, but in Hinamizawa, this is what had happened. Yesterday, during the Watsunagashi festival, Punchy Maribaro had appeared. He had romped with all the usual members of his club. He made a big scene at a few of the stalls, snatched a few sticks of takoyaki and okinomiyataki in his glee, rating each of them as delicious or terrible to get everyone excited. That's like how chapter 2 went, right? Yeah, that is how chapter 2 went. And they'd see a gigantic stuffed animal at the target practice game, and everyone went after it. And then I got a whole bunch of cork guns, firing them in rapid succession, throwing each one away after using it. And admirably, I shot down the biggest stuffed animal there. And then I gave the stuffed animal, the proof of my victory, to Rena as a gift. Then our fun came to a close when we had to go to see Rika-chan's offertory dance. There was a ton of people squeezed in there, and we all got separated, but we managed to get into good positions to cheer Rika-chan on from. Then, in the middle, when she came up and asked me to go hang out with her instead of watching the then in the middle, when she came up and asked me to go hang out with her instead of watching the dedication dance, I refused. Well, that's not how chapter 2 went. And stayed put, watching the dance until the very end. But who? Where's Satoko in all this? Who was that? Well, everyone's been saying it, haven't they? Punchy Maribaro. I had an urge to yell in anger at my classmates for having so much fun talking about the festival yesterday with Punchy Maribaro. What the hell are you guys even talking about? Far stronger than that feeling, though, was the sheer uncanny nature of this reality I couldn't understand. A Punchy Maribaro who wasn't me was in Hinamizawa yesterday. As I threw away my humanity, turned into a demon, and was busy beating Satoko's uncle to death, I was having a great time at the festival last night. What the hell? I had to suffer through so much, desperately holding back tears, getting so worn out, that downpour, digging holes, chasing, beating, killing, dragging, and burying. Who was this Punchy Maribaro who had ignored me so and spent so much fun, carefree time at the festival, damn it? Who the hell stood in for me as I put my life on the line working so hard to achieve this treasure-like everyday life? If there was another Punchy Maribaro beside me, then what was I? On the night of Watsunagashi, when one died and one disappeared, in accordance with Oyashiro-sama's curse, there was only a demon who killed someone. Dumbfounded, as I succumbed to a horrifying possibility, I looked around at my classmates, to make sure there was nobody extra I didn't recognize among them, to make sure I wasn't among them. It was a horrifying thought, that the real Punchy Maribaro hadn't overslept and had come to school on time, and that I was no longer Punchy Maribaro. Punchy Maribaro had just waltzed in here. But no matter how much I checked, the only people here were ones I knew. The man I met every time I looked in the bathroom mirror was not here. I want to talk to Satoko. Oh my god. Holy crap. What is happening? Okay, so, theory, I thought that the step every time was like, I don't know, he was like hearing Oishiro-sama, like, behind him, you know? Or like a spirit, like Oishiro-sama, or maybe because of the slippers, maybe Satoshi-kun, like he could hear his spirit, because he was always talking about it, like with the bat and everything. But who was it? Now I'm starting to think it's a real person. I'm so confused, so conflicted, and I want to talk to Satoko. Dear God. Anyway, it's getting late. I really want to just keep barreling through this, but I can't. I gotta work again early tomorrow. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Please like and subscribe, and God, I don't even know how to end it. Just bye bye.